Hello guys, welcome to YouTube channel TechBird. Today we are going to cover the topic inventory management from domain knowledge point of view. So inventory is very important aspect of any supply chain management system. So let's see what is inventory management. So it refers to the process of ordering, storing, using, selling company's inventory. So storing, ordering, using and selling of company inventory. This includes raw materials, components, finished goods, as well as the warehousing and processing of these items. There are different methods of inventory method management, each with its pros and cons depending on a company's needs. So, key takeaways: inventory management is the entire process of managing inventories from raw material to finished goods. Inventory management tries to efficiently streamline inventories to avoid gluts and shortages. Four major inventory management methods include just-in-time management (JIT), second MRP (Material Requirement Planning), third is EOQ (Economic Order Quantity), and fourth is DSI (Days Sales of Inventory). There are pros and cons to each of these methods, which are reviewed below. So, the benefits of inventory management. So company's inventory is one of its most valuable assets. In retail, manufacturing, food services, and other inventory intensive sectors, a company's inputs such as raw materials and finished goods are core of its business. The shortage of inventory when and where it is needed can be extremely detrimental. At the same time, inventory can be thought of as a liability, if not in an accounting sense. A large inventory carries the risk of spoilage, theft, damage, or shifts in demand. Inventory must be insured, and if it is not used up, sold in time, it may have to be disposed of at clearance prices or simply destroyed. For these reasons, inventory management is important for businesses for any size. Knowing when to restock, what quantities to purchase or produce, and when to sell, and what prices can easily become complex decisions. The small businesses will often keep track of stock manually and determine the reorder points and quantities using spreadsheet means Excel formulas. Larger businesses may use specialized ERP software, enterprise resource planning. The largest corporation use highly customized software as a service application SaaS. Companies are also calling on AI, artificial intelligence, to optimize these processes. Appropriate inventory management strategies varies depending on the industry. An oil depot is able to store large amount of inventory for extended period of time, allowing it to wait for demand to pick up if necessary. While storing oil is expensive and risky, a fire in the UK in 2005 led to millions of pounds in damage and fines. There is no risk that the inventory will spoil or go out of style. For businesses dealing in perishable goods or products for which demand is extremely time sensitive, 2024 calendars or fast fashion items, for example, sitting on inventory is not an option, and misjudging the timing or quantities of orders can be costly. For companies with complex supply chains and manufacturing process, balancing the risk of inventory glut and shortage is especially difficult. To achieve these balances, they may call on several methods for inventory management, including JIT just in time, material requirement planning MRP. Some companies, such as financial services firms, do not have physical inventory and so instead relied on service process management SPM. Accounting for inventory. For accounting purposes, inventory represents a current asset since a company typically intends to sell its finished goods within a short period of time, usually no more than a year. Inventory has to be physically counted or measured before it can be put on balance sheet. Companies often maintain sophisticated inventory management system capable of tracking inventory levels in real time. Inventory can be accounted for in several ways. First in, first out, FIFO, costing, last in, first out, LIFO, costing or weight average costing. An inventory account typically consists of four separate categories. First is raw materials, second is work in progress, third is finished goods, and fourth one is merchandise. So first one is raw materials. So represent the various materials a company purchases for its production per process. These materials must undergo significant work for a company to transform them into a finished good ready for sale. Second one is work in progress, also known as goods in process, represents raw material in the process of being transformed into a finished product. Third is finished goods, are complete product readily available for sale to a company's customer. Fourth one is merchandise, represent finished goods a company buys from a supplier for future resale. So these are merchandise. So merchandise represents finished goods a company buys from a supplier for future resale. Now, inventory management methods. So, depending on the type of business or the product involved, a company may use various inventory management methods. These include just-in-time manufacturing, material requirement planning, MRP, economic order quantity, and days sales of inventory DSI. So, while these are there are other, those are the four most common methods used to manage inventory. Here is a now each how each one works. So just in time, let's see it. What is just in time management? So this manufacturing and inventory management model originated in Japan in 1960 and 70. So Toyota Motor (TM) is credited with contributing the most to its development. JIT, just in time, allows companies to save significant amount of money and reduce waste by purchasing and keeping on hand only the inventory they need to produce and sell product within a certain period of certain time of frame. This approach reduces storage and insurance costs as well as the cost of liquidating or discarding excess inventory. JIT inventory management can be risky. If demand unexpectedly spikes, the manufacturer may not be able to source the inventory it needs to meet the demand, damaging its reputation with customers and driving business to competitors. Even the smallest delay can be disruptive. If a key input doesn't arrive just in time, a bottleneck can result. Material requirement planning (MRP). So inventory management method is this inventory management method is sale forecast dependent. Sale forecast dependent, meaning that manufacturers rely on detailed sales record to anticipate their inventory needs and communicate these needs to suppliers in a timely manner. For example, a Sky manufacturer using an MRP inventory system might ensure that materials such as plastic, fiberglass, wood, and aluminum are in stock based on forecasted orders. Inability to accurately forecast sales and plan inventory acquisition will result in the manufacturer's inability to fulfill orders. Third one is economic order quantity. This model used in inventory managed by calculating the number of units a company should add to its inventory with each batch order to reduce the total cost of its inventory while assuming constant consumer demand. The consumer demand constant. The cost of inventory in the model include holding and setting up cost. EQ, EOQ, economic order quantity. Model seeks to ensure that the right amount of inventory is ordered per batch. So a company doesn't have to make orders too frequently and there is not an excess of inventory sitting on hand. It assumes that there is trade-off between inventory holding cost and inventory setup cost. And total inventory costs are minimized when both setup costs and holding costs are minimized. Fourth one is days sales of inventory, DSI. This financial ratio indicates that the average time in days that a company takes to turn its inventory, including goods that are in work in progress, into sales. DSI, days in days sales of inventory. DSI is also known as average age of inventory. Days inventory outstanding. DIO, days in inventory. DII, days scale in inventory, or days inventory, and is interpreted in multiple ways, indicating the liquidity of the inventory. The figure represents how much days a company's current stock of inventory will last. Generally, a lower DSI is preferred as it indicates a shorter duration to clear off the inventory, though the average DSI varies from one industry to another. Now, inventory management red flags. So, what are the red flags? If a company frequently switches its methods of inventory accounting without reasonable justification, it is likely its management is trying to paint a brighter picture than reality would indicate. Frequently, inventory write-offs can mean that a company is having issue with selling its finished goods or with inventory obsolescence. This can also raise red flags regarding company's ability to stay competitive and make products that appeal to consumers going forward. What are four main types of inventory management? So we have seen in JIT, EOQ, DSI, days sales of inventory. How does Tim Cook use inventory management in Apple? Tim Cook. So Apple CEO Tim Cook is known for his focus on inventory management. Inventory is like a dairy products. He has been quoted as saying, "No one want to buy spoiled milk." Among other innovation, Cook brought just-in-time manufacturing practice to Apple, reportedly reducing its inventory turnover time from month to as little as 5 days turnover time. So what is an example of inventory management? Let's look an example of just-in-time inventory management. With this method, a company aims to receive goods as close as possible when they are actually needed. So if a car manufacturer needs to install airbags in its cars, it arranges to receive those airbags as the cars come onto the assembly line instead of having a stock of them on supply at all times. The bottom line. Inventory management is crucial part of business operations. Proper inventory management depends on the type of business and the product it sells. There may not be one perfect type of inventory management because there are pros and cons for each. But taking advantage of the most appropriate type of inventory management can go a long way toward ensuring a company's success. So this was all about inventory management. I hope you will have got you will get a lot of ideas, lot of key takeaways from this uh, tutorial, and we will be making more videos on domain knowledge because it is required at the current time from a data analytics point of view. So I hope you will like and subscribe the channel. We will meet you soon. Till then, goodbye.